Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the narration and character voicing for the main story of Arknights. This is still episode 10 Shatterpoint, but this is also our probably second to last episode for this chapter. Or more than likely, yes, this is the second to last episode of this chapter. Because next time, when the next episode is out, we will be fully done with this chapter and we will also be fully caught up with the main story. That is currently available on the global side of Arknights. Probably not gonna have to wait too long for the release of Chapter 11. That one is pretty much around the corner, and as of this recording and the episode going live, it's probably gonna be like, what, a month to a month and a half approximately until it releases, maybe 2 months total. But it will soon be out, and as a friendly reminder as well, unlike how we have been doing the main story up until now, which was like a release of an episode maybe every week and a half to 2 weeks, sometimes a bit longer. Once the Chapter 11 story is out, we will be dealing with that one pretty much in the same way and fashion as I'm dealing with pretty much every single side story on the channel, which means starting from the day the story goes live, you will be getting an episode every second to third day at most, until we are done. But in the meantime, thank you for the likes on the previous episode. They help a lot for these episodes to be recognized in the algorithm, so thank you very much. And outside of that, if you want to skip ahead over the recap section that we always do here at the beginning, timestamp is as always in the comments section below. So, without further ado, let's begin with on the previous part. So, we pretty much began with a scene between Siege and her team discussing and arguing over what their future direction essentially is gonna be like. While in the meantime, Amiya and the Doctor are trying to persuade Clovicia to forge a partnership with Rhode Island and her Self-Salvation Corps, which they obviously do manage to do. In the meantime, Horn, who returns from the medical run that she was doing, returning with supplies, learns that the comrade that she was getting supplies for has passed away sadly, vows to keep the memory and name in her mind, as with every single person that has perished under her command, to return at least, if nothing else, the memories of the person to their respective families. She also rallies the rest of the troops alongside her to go and rescue the prisoners that are being held by the Sarkas. At the same time, Rhode Island and the Self-Salvation Corps are pretty much constructing a similar operation to save both prisoners that are being held by the Sarkas in the same place that Horn is going to, but also to save a dear friend to both parties, which is the messenger Heidi Thompson. In the meantime, as everybody is going into position, Heidi is at one side tending to the and doing her best essentially to protect the prisoners inside of the camp. Inside of the building, rather, while at the same time she's noticing that some of the Sarkas are leaving subtle hints towards some kind of safe areas and where the prisoners should be once the rescue goes underway. And outside of the building, under the Doctor's command, the Amiya team and the Self-Salvation Corps members are all going into position. Amiya, Closure, Feist and Rock and the Doctor are all heading with one team from the south side in to pretty much bust down a wall and get inside of the building. The infiltration is a success, and in the meantime, Horn, who is also obviously present and notices the whole kerfuffle happening, runs into Mandragora, but both sides do not engage in combat because both sides are recognizing that each of them is just trying to save their captured comrades. Therefore, they just pass by each other. Meanwhile, inside of the factory, as the rescue of Heidi was a success, They, Amiya and the rest of the team are trying to come up with a successful evacuation plan. Feist and Rock have split up from the group to try and find one of their dear comrades that was also taken and is somewhere deeper in the facility. But the Amiya team encounters none other than W, who, surprise, surprise, is there to actually save their asses, not to stop their asses. And in the meantime, as Feist and the Rock find their comrade, who is gravely injured, they run into Horderer, who is pretty much blocking their escape, but they manage to still run out thanks to Closure's intervention and catch up back to the rest of the team and head out of the building, while W stays behind to pretty much cover their tracks. Horn, at the same time, also saves the prisoners that she came for. Mandragora extracts the spy that she was coming for. And W, who is engaged in combat with Horderer, gets injured by the same person. And before Horderer can actually finish her off, both of them get stopped in their tracks by the appearance of none other than Rhode Island elite operator Ascalon, who they both actually personally know, because if I remember correctly, they both served, or at some they know, let's put it that way, they know about each other, to put it in the most simple of terms. But yeah, that is about when it comes to the last part. So today, like I said last time, we're gonna be going over the story sections for stage 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. As a quick reminder, 11, 12, and 15 and 16 are just before and after parts, so technically we're going over 4 stages in total when you think about it, but it's still quite a lot to cover. At the same time, stages 11 and 15 respectively will be opening up entries into our little book over here, which we will be stopping into once we are done with each one of the stages. But anyway, let us begin, shall we? So, 10-11, battered and bruised. From within the crevices between ruined buildings, they strain to see a sliver of sunlight. Let's start. So you mean to say that Horderer has failed? Yes, General. I saw it with my own eyes. He was gravely wounded in the battle just now. And he was in contact with another Sarka's woman, aside from his long-time mercenary acquaintance. Right, but she's highly skilled at concealment and moves too quickly. I was anxious about getting too close, couldn't shake the feeling she'd notice me with one wrong step. Wise choice. You wouldn't have made it back alive otherwise. That said, I'm surprised the Confessarius let Babel's assassin go free. Was that an oversight, or their intent? No matter. Tell me about Horderer. Where is he? He is still marshalling the remaining mercenaries, about to resume pursuing the escaped convicts. Have him return. Those convicts will not stay free forever. General? As you said, his wounds are no laughing matter. Forgive me, but why do you still trust Horderer so much? I've had you with him this whole time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've never once reported any misdeeds from him. But he used to work for Babel. It was the mercenaries under his watch that screwed up, and it was his old friend that incited them. Don't you think it's too risky to keep him in such a key position, General? You've seen for yourself today. How does one Victorian regard another? And how much more difficult do you think it is for one Sarkas to trust another? We've had everything stolen from us, been forced to grow accustomed to fighting each other for the right to survive. And now we've obtained a new opportunity. You tell me, do you want to go back to monitoring a possible Sarkas spy, or will you accompany me in eliminating the remaining Victorian threats? General, we choose to go with you. Did we shake them? We can't let our guards down yet, Mr. Feist. I know. I know. Captain, what is it? Your face is splattered in blood. Blood? Hey, Bill? Bill? Oh, it's just my own blood. No need to panic then. Come on, Bill. You could breathe a little louder. I don't want to have spent all this effort porting a dead man back. Then think about swinging your spanner gentler. You're always hitting me in the head. I hear you. You're the boss today. Hold on a little longer. We'll be right back home soon. Right? I'm not going blind, am I? This blood from my forehead's getting in my eyes a little. Rock, eyes out, eyes out. How much left to the target rendezvous? A little over 300 meters and we're there. It's Team 6 on guard here, right? I could really use a hand from them. Bill, old bud, you're getting harder to carry by the second. How long have we gone without a signal from the surface team? Didn't the doctor say they'd only contact us after they reached the last RDV? No, I mean the Self-Salvation Corps and the one before that. At the one before that, we had an agreement that they'd keep us up to date with the surface situation every half an hour. Shit, I wasn't tracking the time. How long has it been? We need to go up and see. No. If the Sarkas have already discovered our last rendezvous, then the doctor's squad is in danger. You're clearly worried sick about Morgan and Dagda too. And you too. Worst comes to worst, Vina. I go peek, and you stay here. Suppose somehow something's happened. You scalper further in. Indra, I can't always keep covering behind you all. First our mentor, then you and the Glasgow gang. Now the doctor. I've covered for far too long. And I know it. Dagda wasn't talking nonsense. If you're always tucked away in the shadows, you gradually lose the courage to directly face the sun. She's trying to narc you. You know what she's dying for. You taking her to storm the palace and finding that what's his gent Jesus, this is hard to pronounce. And finding that what's his gent to do him in. British, why you be so? And you're itching to go back to the Glasgow gang. Don't you understand her point of view? Like hell I don't. But that's the bloody thing. I understand, and that's why. You're scared she'll end up killing herself the way she rushes it. You can bloody imagine, can't you? She's got a death wish in my eyes, the way she acts. You mean you need to trust her? She'll be willing to live for our sake, and the sake of so many, even if it comes with enormous pain. She's an outstanding knight, and a warrior of Victoria. She has everything in common with the countless others who struggle to live and fight on for Victoria. And I have to fight with them, not because I'm in some special position, but because we're all native to this land. Vina. Think of that commander, Lady Clovicia. Would she abandon her soldiers, run off just to keep herself safe? I'm not familiar with her, but I don't imagine she would. Those soldiers really trust in her. Then in your eyes, How much do I pale in comparison? Like bloody hell you pale at all. Then follow me. Together we'll make sure that our comrades in arms have a safe trip home. We finally got to leave this stinking place soon. Are you alright, Spy?
I'm fine, Mandragora. The last few times I've heard the word spy, it's been from a circus thinking up some fresh new punishment. I almost forgot it was my code name.
Then pick up a more tasteful one next time, if you have the chance. The Illusionist and all that lot had good ones, and they kicked the bucket without leaving so much as a smear. Save your strength for now. The leader will still need the circus intel you found.
You mean the shard?
No, don't say it. Not like I don't want to hear, but we need the leader's approval. Our soldiers are all clean sorts. Don't go giving them too big of a burden to carry.
I understand, Mandragora. You've always been such a good girl.
Don't sweet-talk me like the bandit did. Sick of it. They're all gone now. Gone, and now I'm stuck here alone in this shithole having to worry about the leader. At least you got back quick. While you were gone, that Harmony bastard was glued to the leader's side day and night, and I was terrified that...
Terrified that what?
That the leader would get too close to those noble sorts, and that someday she'd have no more use for us.
The leader, eh? Ma'am, I've ascertained the other's position. They're still in the same place, watching the door for the Sarkas. Are we linking up with them right now?
Get the paramedics going. The spy needs immediate treatment. Right, one more thing. Find a messenger and notify Count Morning outside the city immediately. We have to ensure the spy meets the leader as soon as possible.
Count Morning? You involve him for the leader?
Times like these, we have no choice but to hope for nobles to do something to help. Funny kind of joke, isn't it?
You've grown well.
That's not like you, Spy. You're speaking too much rubbish. Save the rest for when you're not ragged enough to drop dead at a stiff breeze.
Hold it. What is it, Horn? We have a visual on the exit already.
Mind the perimeter.
3 o'clock. Horn, it's Arkas.
Robin, are you still fine for ammo?
Sorry, Horn. Truth is, I've been hiding an explosive shell on me. All this time I've had it in my hand. Ahead that if I fall into enemies' hands, at some point again, I'll be taking this shell with me to my last stand.
Shame, we improvised the shell ourselves.
How's that got anything to do with...
And I'm very sorry, but I'm not inclined to give you that opportunity.
Michelle!
Looks like the power of homemade ones falls a bit short after all.
But his unscathed, how? That's Sarkas.
That Sarkas is their beloved general.
We finally meet. An improvised shell is hardly a suitable greeting, though.
I know you've met your share of Victorian soldiers, Sarkas. After all, a great deal of them died by your hands. I imagine their spirits are practically lining up to crowd your dreams.
No need to be so self-effacing, White Wolf of Victoria. Even to the Sarkas, you qualify as a heroic warrior. As I recall, the captain who rendered Kazdal a sea of flames once more, 200 years ago, was your ancestor.
Are you some monster who's lived for centuries too?
I had no chance to witness that war.
But listen to the way you talk about it. It's no different from your kin who feed on others' lives to prolong their own.
Those stained in Sarka's blood must pay that blood back, thousands of times over. Where do you think we came from, Victorian? Just who runs in fear at the restless souls circling Londinium skies day and night, murmuring their blood feuds?
Did you know? I became a professional soldier precisely because I was fed up with justifying this war we're in. Come, Sarkas. The words of the deceased lingering above my ears are more than you'll ever hear. And I promised them this. I will not fall until I see my people out of this place alive. Alright then. As per usual, before we continue in, we have some extra enemies to add to the usual descriptions here. First off, we have a red variant of our Hairbearer Warrior, titled the Sarka's Hairbearer Warrior Captain. A captain of the Sarka's Royal Court blessed with the living blood of the Sanguine Ark of Vampires, more dangerous than a normal Sarka's Royal Court soldier. After falling in battle for the first time, his blood will continue to advance in his place. And then we have the Sarka's Hairbearer Hate Drinker, a soldier of the Sarka's Royal Court blessed by the Sanguine Ark of Vampires. The hatred of their compatriots slain on the battlefield builds up within them, making them more than eager to tear apart the enemies of the Sarkas. And of course, we now stop for a second and go into our little book to the entry for stage 1011. As a quick reminder, all of these entries in this book are done by none other than Heidi herself. This is her notepad, and these are her notes noted down essentially during the events of this occupation. But anyway, we continue with the note for 1011, and it goes as follows. It's my second time now meeting that Sarkas, or should I say, being taken aside by him for questioning. Interrogations like that are awfully common. He let me go quickly. Still, I feel this manner wasn't quite like other Sarkas. I found out beforehand a squad of Sarkas mercenaries might get in touch with us, but I still haven't noted any hostility or explosive burning in Londinium tallying with that codename yet. I asked that Sarkas today about his name. He acted somewhat oddly, ridiculing me, most likely. No need to bother committing any Sarkas to memory. We'll die in one blink and then be forgotten in the next, he said, showing me the originium crystals on his face. I don't know if I can work with these Sarkas or not. The more stories I learn in the city, the harder it is to judge. Old friend is practically a cliché between Sarkas and Londinium. Most met in the Civil War before, then again in a different battle later on. Their deepest bond is knowing they can never trust each other. Even decade-old friends will hack off the hand clung to their starboard one day in order to keep their own ship afloat. The Sarkas didn't mince this attitude at all. They're forever in battle mode. If Victoria is engulfed by flames of war like in Castle Yor, I wonder how we will end up. P.S. On top of the Oriron supply being cut off, some other common industrial products are gradually vanishing from the market. Rock and Company will be very troubled keeping work going if materials dry up to this extent. Though even if we win the company's support, there's no reliable transport channel as of now. The railway owners have confirmed to me that freight trains can only transport industrial materials to central Londinium currently, and personal transport uses have to go through approval. Alright, also... pardon. We continue now on to stage 12, titled At Vendetta's Close. After so long, still she dreams of another possibility, a way she could have taken her vengeance. No new enemies to add to the description here, all that we have seen so far, so let's continue with the afterstory of the stage. It's so strange, Doctor. We definitely shook off the Sarkas warriors from before.
It's like they know our position.
Closure, are our communications being traced? Not a chance, Amia. I guarantee it. I set up a triple layer encryption on our transmitters. If they had the tech for that, then Theresis would have breached the landship 100 times over by now. Doctor, I believe Closure. They must be using some other method then.
Miss Amia, we're a stone's throw from the rendezvous point. As long as we link up with Team 6, we can get in contact with the subterranean support unit. Once we're underground, the Sarkas pursuing us will be out of luck.
No, don't go that way.
Huh? What? Wait. Miss Siege? What are you doing here? Weren't you under...
Team 6 is...
Team 6 is what? Why do you look so... Miss Indra, have you seen all that blood on your hands?
Your soldiers, they all gave their lives.
That can't be right. Team 6 is still ahead of us. How could they have run into the Sarkas?
We don't have time to analyze now. Doctor, it wasn't the Sarkas force pursuing us that killed Team 6's soldiers. You mean? The enemy they faced had terrifying Originiumarts. It was more of a massacre than a battle. Hardly any of them had even drawn their weapons. You're sure it was Originiumarts? I don't believe that. I saw this red bug thing near the soldiers' chests. I saw this red bug thing tear the soldiers' chest apart. Mina, you saw it too. That was a genuine monster. So the perpetrator is no ordinary Sarkas. We have to change course. Mr. Feist, are there any other routes we can take?
Yes, but we don't have any support waiting on it if we run into Sarkas forces.
We'll be in for another hard fight.
Find cover. Horn, what the hell is this? What did that Sarkas throw at us? A bomb? None of us even saw it.
Originiumarts. Eyes up.
I just saw something red flash by in midair.
Retreat.
It's like a thunderbolt or something. That's Originiumarts? These abominable devils. Still won't come out? Your war, your battle, your fight. It can't be this game of runabout you're playing. Can it, White Wolf?
5 aerial blood streaks at once?
Horn, we have no chance of...
No. No matter how strong the arts, he's only one person. What did Victoria do in the past to prevail over the Sarkas again and again?
You mean...
How many bolts do we have left? Cover me.
Yes, sir. A pitiful act of defiance.
Now is our chance.
Counting on an arts bombardment to make your escape. I'll give you a rude awakening.
What I said still stands. So long as my soldiers remain here, I will not flee.
Not bad after all, White Wolf. I see you have the bravado to reverse course and charge me. Such a shame, then. Whoever told you that the Sarkas depended solely on arts in a fight? Even wielding no more than a sword, I can still defeat every last one of you.
Beating me may not be so difficult, but making me fall will not be so easy.
How very brave of you. It's thanks to that valor of yours that I can end this battle that much quicker. The instant he thrusts his sword out, the soldier before Manfred abruptly vanishes. She she seems to practically dissolve and melt through the wall behind her, leaving not even a ripple. These arts are unfamiliar. Vigilance. A dagger from thin air? No, not from thin air. You react very fast. I'm afraid I don't have more. I'm afraid I'd have one more hole in my chest otherwise.
Target found. Take aim. What the hell? They vanished again. They're too fast. I can't land a shot. Shields up quick. Shit. Are they able to blink?
Blink? No such art could be cast without leaving even a trace. Or is this a diversion? Don't let them fool you. All man, cast precision aside. Attack at once. So long as the enemy is still in front of us, they have no escape. Have we hit them?
General, there's nobody. But the ground is shot to hell. Where can it still be hiding? General, behind you!
Show yourself, and your life is mine. Really? Manfred, you put it very well, but unfortunately, you were only half right. Half. Sarkas do not depend solely on arts to fight. But in no world do Sarkas wield swords alone.
The ground shouldn't be this soft. This place is going to swallow us. I'm losing my grip on my blade. General, you're sinking too?
Nobody move, nobody panic. The dagger is his staff. These are arts, and nothing more than arts. You're very calm-headed. Good. You've saved your man's lives. However, the ground's nearing my stomach. My sword. With your swordsmanship, blocking my attacks would be a simple task. But the more you struggle, the quicker the ground swallows you. Is this how you want to go? This self-destruction?
General,
no one can come near. Or you could seize all movements, same as your man. You want me to wait as you run my heart through? It'd be tough killing you. I see now. You're not actually here to take my life. I never imagined that outside of Ascalon, Rhode Island would have yet another Apex Sarkas assassin. I'm no assassin. Unless it's called for, I have zero desire to harm any Sarkas at all. But here you are, abating our enemies. Are these Victorians your enemies? What I see is a group of bruised, weary warriors on the soil of their own home, struggling painfully just to live. You and Thereses, on the other hand, are turning the Sarkas into the enemy of all. I had entertained having a talk with you people, if I had the chance. It's a sorry thing that we should first meet on the battlefield. Rhode Island Elite Operator.
He's gone again? The ground's back to normal.
A hair's breadth. I was on the cusp of capturing him. His arts are all too exceptional. He can induce hallucinations without influencing our nervous system. There are marks of energy transformation on the ground. Could it be?
General, they're all gone. Those Victorian soldiers, I mean...
He would visit me and stall for time just to extricate those half-dead soldiers one by one.
Are we pursuing them then?
Do you think we can? I may have called it a hair's breadth, but against a caster of that level, a hair's breadth is tantamount to guaranteed failure.
Damn it! We were set to clean out all the rebel forces by today. Now a mercenary's gone, traitor, and some mystery caster held us back.
It's Rhode Island. This is all because of Rhode Island. We missed our chance to round them up in their entirety. But their losses can't be light, can they? They had their chance to hide in the dark, but now they've been driven front and center. For them, revealing their forces is already a colossal tactical defeat. An assassin, an expert special, illusionist caster, and the as yet unseen banshee. How many cards does Rhode Island still have up their sleeve?
General, what are your plans?
Let us go. Before we deal with Rhode Island, we first need to put the discounted clown in its place. This should be far enough for now.
Is this outside the factory district? You cut open space with your dagger?
Don't always trust your senses. Tricking your eyes is much easier than influencing space.
You've rescued me, and not just once. My eyes might not show me the truest answers, but my senses never lie. Just who are you?
Misery. A misery of Rhode Island.
Rhode Island? I'm sorry.
You'll get a chance to hear a full explanation from Bagpipe in due time.
Bagpipe?
She's a co-worker at this point. Not to mention, the last friend my best friend ever made.
Oh, that sentence. That sentence gets me every time. Sounds like I've been quite out of the loop. But before I lose myself to the joy that Bagpipe made it out, allow me to once again thank you and Rhode Island.
Let's get out of here first. Chances are we'll be meeting again soon enough. Manfred's almost worked out the truth of my Originium arts. He could be coming after us any moment.
No, I imagine he'll be busy with something else right now.
You mean Dublin? County Hillocks Mandragora. There's no way she's leaving this factory now. Are you giving yourself grief for not being able to personally avenge your comrades?
I'm just lamenting myself for standing here, regretting that I missed the opportunity to kill her. Or her for being long since beyond saving. That's odd. This is what you agreed with them, right? Why aren't they here to back us up? What the hell is it?
Sarkas! It's Sarkas! We have to run!
Were we spotted? No, not like this. Spy, we have to go. Only 10 meters to that sliding door there, right? Just 10 meters and we're right out, and...
Alright, let's run.
Just like we used to. You pulling me. We only had to run fast enough that those noble kids couldn't catch us. Grotesques. Get down, block them. Bastards. Can't even rely on you in a time like this.
Mandragora.
What? Didn't I tell you to stay quiet for now?
I can't keep walking. You go.
What? Can't you see? I've been doing all this just to...
To save me, or to gain favor with the leader?
Is there a difference? What are you talking about? You're just 5 meters away. Our people are right outside.
They're gone.
What?
Mandragora, the leader, she's long since abandoned us.
Spy! Bastards, don't go! Skewer them, impale every one of those Sarkas! You'll be alright, Spy. It's just an arrow. We're 3 meters away, even if I have to carry you.
Just go! If you can make it out, don't head for the leader.
Did you just die? Who said you could die so easily? Cillian, you bloody disgrace! I'm not letting you die here. You stand up for me. Stand up!
No need to work yourself up. You won't live much longer either, Mandragora. You and your old Taran friend will meet again before you know it.
Manfred, you cost me another 11 lives. You don't know the half. You don't know anything about what it took to kill that many Sarkas.
This is exactly why you must die here.
Perfect. Drop yourself right in my lap. I'll crush every one of you into paste. No prisoners.
Alright then. And we continue on to the stage 1013, which is a cutscene only, titled Crossroads. After an After an interminable journey, each and every person has chosen the path they long to take. Your energy is spent, Mandragora.
Monsters. You Sarkas. All of you monsters.
We are far from strangers to that sort of address. When I hear it from an opponent crawling on the ground, I'm inclined to take it as a compliment.
Sarkas, you're just like those noble lot. Disgusting. That arts. It's all natural born. I could never learn it in a lifetime.
You have the nerve to treat a Ripathy as a blessing. Countless Sarkas are burdened by this curse from birth, of festering bodies, organs oozing. You see us only as pests spreading blight, drive us out from the cities. How many Sarkas each day become crystals scattering to the wind, cannot even be laid to rest in the soil of their home, simply because they wanted to see another sunrise? Yet you tell me you envy this power. Is that your place to say, Victorian?
You're calling me a Victorian? You really know the best way to insult me, devil. Do you know why I avoid a Ripathy? The Sarkas in the Barrens, at least before they die, they get to see the sun come up. Us, we live in the cracks of the city, where a speck of black stone pokes out of your skin, and the very next day you're food in the sewers for the metal crabs. In Victorian eyes, you weak little Tarans don't even amount to what Sarkas do. Only power can let us survive.
The Sarkas have never been interested in the resentment between you. All I know is I've given you chances before. Multiple. If you clean up your act and return to holding up in the north by the end of the day, I'm even willing to let all your petty acts here be water under the bridge.
Bloody magnanimous of you. Should I be kneeling in thanks here, oh kind general? You can dream on. I've seen people like you one too many times. Let me guess, you like the idea that we survive thanks to your charity? I've had enough of it. I've had enough of being a wager to you, a piece on the bloody board. My fate and the tyrant's fates are ours to decide. No other way around about it.
Yours to decide? You think you've managed to decide anything? From the moment you came to Londinium, your fates were sealed.
You... Shut well up. I've had my fair share of failure, but... So long as I kill you here and take all the intel there is on Londinium, I can go back to the leader at a head held high.
Kill me, with these grotesques of yours, barely able to lift themselves off the ground. You know that even if the gargoyles of the royal court stood here, they might not be victorious against me.
Don't you compare my arts to your devil witchcraft.
10 grotesques at once. For not being an infected caster, you must have some natural gift. Nevertheless, I don't even need to call upon the witchcraft you speak of to deal with these rugged little arts animations. I see your limits. Have you not noticed the split in your staff? Once your flashy little tool shatters, you'll find you suddenly have everything in common with the frail, ordinary feline.
And what in the bloody hell does that have to do with anything?
The stone staff emits a crack in response. The ground beneath them trembles. The ruined grotesques all around stand up once again. They stagger and charge at each other, binding to each other tight, and form into a singular great statue, close to 5 meters tall. With a great roar and a flap of its wings, it swoops in, bearing down the Sarkas. Defend. Yes, sir. General, you be on guard. Take care of yourselves. This counterfeit cannot harm me yet. In testament to the Sarkas' words, he uses no kind of Virginium arts. The colossal grotesque turns to him with a howl, the wind from the beating of its wings blowing a torrent of bricks against him, its fangs almost touching his cheeks. And yet he simply thrusts forward once. The stone statue halts in midair and seconds later collapses into a sea of rubble. There you are. No longer can you play about with those stones of yours.
Devil. Even now you still act so arrogant, all because of the damned power you were born with. I'll kill you. I'll kill you!
You think after killing me you can scurry back to your leader and reap your reward? Even if you truly could pull it off, I invite you to wonder, would she welcome you back with open arms, or would she send you straight back to Londinium?
Meanwhile... Relay to Count Morning that the leader assents to all handling of Dublin forces within Londinium by the Sarkas. If necessary, apologize to that Sarkas general. That Dublin has no intent to ruin its peaceful relationship with the regent of Sarkas, of Casdel. It was never on the cards to work in true cooperation with him, given a Gaul at his side, but we are still in no rush to make ourselves enemies, are we? As a token of goodwill, ask the Count to mediate, and have the other noble forces hand back the few Sarkas messengers they intercepted at the auxiliary plate close by. Don't you worry, the Duke of Wellington will not forget the Count's efforts. The leader and Dublin even less so. Tell him he needed panic. Once the leader allies allies this current situation, we'll go meet up with him at Lodinium. The Dublin commander from before? You wonder how she's doing? Mandragora. I've been kind enough to her. I've even went out of my way to plead the leader for lenience. That's why Mandragora even went to Londinium. She barely scraped in that final chance. You have to understand, the leader's never been the least bit satisfied with what Mandragora and her cohort accomplished in County Hillock. Why can't she just understand that at this point, Dublin no longer needs the title of the Spectre Force? Ultimately, we look to found a new nation for the Draco and Tarans. And how can we hope to gain the masses' support with nothing but wrath, animosity, and their terror by intimidation alone? If she could just comprehend the leader's intent, learn to stay the flames in her own heart, withdraw safe and sound from Londinium, at least when the leader reads what a good job she did, there'd be a place for her. You know as well as I do, the leader's never forgotten her first Taran compatriots. After all, it was together they came out from the ashes.
I might be meeting a messenger from the outside, come daytime. They'll surely be here on some count of Baron's bidding, but without a doubt, behind them will be the Duke from the Taran region. It may be they'll thank me, for I rid them of an unstable lunatic commander in their place, and established a better outset for them in their coming negotiations. Sarkars are always seen as useful tools. Yes, on that point, we and you are alike, loathing these arrogant nobles. However, you'll have to call it here, Mandragora. A dagger? You would sneak up on me with a dagger.
And suppose I can pull it off?
Do your nerves grow through your heart? Did I skewer your brain too in the process? I've told you, you can't kill me. Moreover, even if you did, it would have no meaning at all.
No meaning? If everything has to have meaning, well, there never was meaning in people like us living, was there? I'll kill you. Not because anyone ordered me to. Just because. It's what I want to do.
Truly, a lunatic.
A lunatic? Me? You look at that face of yours, always so confident and cool. Right, you'd be clueless. Because you always get what you want done, so easy. Once the one you most care about dies by your side, once the one you most trust casts you away, pins you to the ground with your own sword even, maybe then you'll understand.
Is this your final defiance on the brink of death? These curses of yours can't sway me one iota.
Then why don't you hurry up and kill me?
You don't even need me to do anything. You're already dead, Taran.
Taran. You're calling me a Taran. Sarkaz.
Laid on the ground, she raggedly forces a breath. The floor is cooling, chilling, and she gradually loses sense of her own arms and legs. Were they broken at some point, or have they numbed in feeling for her life? Do you want to live, Taran? Who is it calling to her? The sewers are right beside you. Climb down there, and those disgusting nobles won't ever catch you again. Yes, climb down. The sewers give off the intense stench of rust and grease. Parts ripped from abandoned machines and cold scraps from a noble's dining table mixed together. She's starving, yet she revolts at this hunger. Rust, grease, but she can smell another scent. She knows it. The odor of death. The sewers are a tomb for the insects living in nomadic cities. The wealthy construct cemeteries inside the cities where land comes at a premium, and the commoners with little to their name have no choice but to cast ashes out beyond the city orbits. And the insects? They die without a word in the cracks between the plates. They die where the sun will never shine upon them. Do you dare walk to your death? Should you have the courage to die, that is all you need to be granted a new life.
Leader.
She just needs to crawl to her left, scant inches, and she'll clamber into the sewers, like back then. And there on her right, just on her right, her Taran compatriot stares with eyes wide open, gazing silently upon her.
Sorry, leader. This time, it's me who doesn't need you.
She uses the last of her strength to push her hand out. Her touch aligns on her old friend, changed beyond recognition.
No one's after us now. Let's go home.
Even though your meeting's end will be in death. Someone stands before her. No firelight by his feet. Pitch black reflection from his dagger. Mandragora grins. In her mind, she has met the true death. There's an entrance right below that abandoned factory. Push that crane out of the way and that'll do.
Alright, thank you for showing the way, Mr. Feist. We'll be going along here. Everyone not wounded, please lend a hand to who are... Bleeding hell! Doctor, we've got pursuers again! How are they doing it? Ever since leaving the coal factory, we've always get found, no matter how many waves of enemies we repel.
We can discuss that in a moment.
Right, this is our last chance to retreat underground. We can't let the enemy follow us under any costs. The Self-Salvation Corps has all their operations set up here, and the Sarkas don't know which entrance is the correct one to these underground tunnels. On the off chance a Sarkas finds this entrance, the Self-Salvation Corps and the Sudan Burrows' efforts will all be laid to waste too, just like that.
Closure, ready the explosives.
On it, what? Doctor, you want me to prepare to blow up this entranceway? That definitely works as a form of insurance. Are the Self-Salvation Corps gonna like that? Clovicia gave command authority to the doctor. What the doctor says goes. Amia, we'll intercept the Sarkas in the estate behind. Wait on my signal. If we fail to head them off, I want you to set off the bombs before it's too late.
They're over there.
Quit gawking around. Your opponent's right here. One team of 10 Sarkas. We can hold them down. These few, but even once we do...
You, none of you are getting away. The Sanguinar can smell it. He'll find you one by one. Tear your bodies open, cut your throats apart.
Who is this Sanguinarch? Could it be the one who just raided another unit of the Self-Salvation Corps soldiers?
Raided? You Victorian felines wouldn't be worth his raiding. He's simply hunting prey. As the Prince of Blood's quarry, you wouldn't even register in his gaze.
No need to listen to their nasty comments. Indra, do you remember that run-in with the Self-Salvation soldiers? Burned it into my eyes. What a bloody scene. I've seen plenty of people die, but just smeared all over the ground like that, barely even looked human anymore. Nagda, what are you doing? There's still some of them over there. We can't waste... Siege, I beseech you. Let us get out of here. Do you hear yourself? You're the one who wanted to fight the Sarkas. Now you're the one getting cold feet about it. I've suffered the humiliation of turning tail once before. I can cope with it again. So long as we can escort Siege safely out of this area, I am willing to come back and wage war to the bloody end with these Sarkas at any time. Fine. Siege, have you finally made your decision? Perhaps I have. Dagda, I've already seen your choice. My choice. Go. Vina? Hold on. Go and find the one you need. Don't let these Sarkas stand in your way. Are all of us down now? All surviving Self-Salvation soldiers are here. It's all thanks to you that we could even make it here.
What about Vina?
We're here. 3 returning from the siege group. What about Miss Dagda? Is she alright? Don't mention that bloody asshole to me. She's not going to feel it, no matter how hard you pound the wall, love. Dagda has her own things she needs to do. Amia, I apologize to you and the doctor for her departure. No need to apologize. I sympathize. These are special circumstances. I can understand Miss Dagda's decision. If we're sure we don't have to wait for her.
Closure?
You got it. That's that blown then, eh? If Dagda wants to come back, maybe she'll have issues finding the way. She won't. Mina, what's she won't? She won't find her way to us or she won't come back. Leave Mina alone. We've still got a ways forward to go. Right. Forward we go. The Self-Salvation soldiers are still waiting for us.
Alright, and we continue on to stage 10-14, titled Aim. You realize that under such sight, you never had anywhere to hide. Let's begin. We're down 13 civilians and 9 soldiers. Rhone Island. They're proving to be quite troublesome.
General, we finished the headcount on the remaining Dublin soldiers.
Give them one chance. Those willing to join us will enter the mercenary squad. As for those who aren't, you already know what to do with them.
Yes, sir.
Not your best showing, General Manfred. I didn't expect for Confessarius's messengers to still be here. Both the leader and the regent are concerned about the battle situation unfolding in this inconspicuous corner. I trust the Sanguinarch is no exception. After all, his generosity last night took a lot of the pressure off of us.
Alright, he wanted me to let you know. The atmosphere here is too filthy.
he doesn't plan to wait around much longer. At the moment, he is in the unfortunate process of requisitioning the property of a factory owner and will be enjoying a late dinner. Requisitioning? I do hope that whoever the prince requisitioned the factory from isn't one of our partners. Does that matter? These inefficient factories provide us with hardly anything worthwhile. All they do is breed pests. His patience will only last until tomorrow night. If you are unable to provide him with a satisfactory banquet, then he will sweep these filthy streets as he sees appropriate. Is this the Sanguinarch's intent, or the decision in the military commission? Always fussing over these irrelevant details. This is exactly why you've been pinned down in this little dump. His Highness expected more of you. Please report back to the Prince. We are deeply grateful for his assistance, and will proceed with the next phase of the operation. Very well. We look forward to seeing your results. Heading off to war is nearly as much of a slog as talking to these royal court people, eh? So this is where you've been hiding. I assure you, I haven't been slacking off. You can stop cradling the Narmov you nearly lost. Tell me, which of your old acquaintances did that to you? The one with the explosives, or the one with the sword? Sorry, it hurts so bad I can't remember anything. Since they left you with another arm to pick up a sword with, it seems whoever it was still has a soft spot for you. It's almost daybreak. Yeah, looks like it. Stop leaning against the wall in a daze. Break time's over. Mercenaries aren't eligible for sick leave, right? Let's go. This battle is far from over.
How many injured are there? Take them to get treated right now. I'll also help out. Thank you. Bring Harma over here. We have to speed up the evacuation. Also dispatch some messengers outside the city. Worst case scenario, we need to be prepared to relocate the bulk of the population.
Yes, Commander.
Message. Message? Oh, sorry, your voice always makes my mind wander off. You must be exhausted, just like our soldiers. Thanks for your concern. I'm hanging there. The piece of intel you brought back, that the warriors of Team 6 were slaughtered by extremely terrifying Originiumarts, is critically important to us. If only I could have gone to the surface to check on them sooner. No, you would have been in danger too. Besides, you've already done enough. If not for your quick thinking, it might not have been just Team 6 that ran into him, but the rest of our troops and your people as well. Who is he? Those Sarkis soldiers seem to call him a prince. 3 months ago, a noble's banquet was held in northern Londinium. It began with great fanfare. The lights stayed on the entire night, and it wasn't until the servants went to clean the venue on the second day that they discovered that the only thing left was a still playing record player. Everyone was dead? All killed in a single instant, it seems. Some of them still kept their posture from the moment of death, glasses raised in a toast. Among the slain were those with connections with us. Heidi knew them too. That's right. I lost several old friends that night. The Self-Salvation Corps also lost a significant portion of its network throughout the city. It's not for no reason that we retreated to the edge of the wall. But it's thanks to Heidi's unfaltering efforts that we've managed to survive, and soon enough we'll have a chance to face the Sarkis head-on. Before that, though, we still need to escape the gaze of that terrifying individual. Amia, would you happen to know who he is? If my hunch is correct, the person looming above us is probably a vampire. This'll be tough.
How tough?
To be honest, it's probably easier for me to make a new one from scratch than try to glue the pieces together.
Don't have the parts.
Huh? No way!
We're in Londinium. Most of the city's industrial resources are controlled by the Sarkas, and we don't exactly have the luxury of scrounging up scraps for something that won't be used on the battlefield.
Your work environment is way too...
impoverished? You can speak your mind. The commander isn't here.
Way too much of a challenge.
Disclosure.
What's up?
Did you know when you talk about being challenged, your eyes seem to light up? Physically.
Huh? Really? Must be because I'm getting excited. Is it scary?
It's fine. To be honest, it wasn't until I met you that I found out that Sarkas can do more than just fight.
Oh, there are a lot of people who aren't fighters like me. Naturally, I'm a vampire, so of course I was born with some handy talents.
Huh? What is this speed? It'd take a week for me to do what you did in a single night.
What do you think of the pillars of Rhode Island? Why do you think the pillars of Rhode Island are so good? Take a good look at my eyes. If the Rhode Island landship was filled with vampires, work at night would be no problem, and we'd cut down big on the electricity bill.
Are there a lot of vampire engineers?
Of course not. They all...
Hey, why'd you start shunning all of a sudden?
Blame Londinium. It's been a long time since I last felt the fear of being this close to a den of evil. Look, my hands are totally frozen stiff, and I need these hands.
Could it be the Team 6 ran into...
I sure hope not. If so, for real, I need to give you guys a serious warning. Just in case, if you ever run into another vampire, run. No, it might already be too late by then. I hope you'll never ever bump into them.
Closure just casually raising the red flags.
Morgan, you and Indra will go to help the Self-Salvation Corps relocate. I'll be right there.
Vina?
What is it, Doctor? Were you looking for me?
How are you doing?
I'm fine, but I'm really worried about Dagda. It's no different from how you're worried about us, though. We both have our own responsibilities to shoulder. Dagda is pretty much in the same situation as me. Every moment she stays with me, her actions were bound by responsibility. No matter how many times I told her to make her own decisions, she would never be able to choose any other outcome. When we truly have the capacity to make a choice, what truly matters is having the authority to make that so-called choice. Otherwise, it is nothing more than coercion wrapped in more palatable package. I don't want to have to push her along ever again. She needs to accept herself and then walk down her own path with conviction.
And what about your choice? You can continue like this and become a regular soldier. You can also go and tell them who you really are. No matter what you decide, Rhode Island and I will support you.
Becoming a run-of-the-mill soldier might be the easy way out. But my family name, no matter what you all decide to call me, I can't deny my name. It's a part of me.
Flashback.
I hope I didn't scare you by telling you the truth, Doctor. Dr. Kaltz said she was willing to tell you, but I decided to do it myself.
Your family name is Victoria?
You don't seem all that surprised. Maybe because I don't remember the past. You don't remember the past? Even though you've suffered so much due to that, I can't help but wonder, is your life a little bit easier because you can't remember? When I'm around you, I can always relax so easily. It might be because, even when you found out the truth, the only person reflected in your eyes was the operator known as Siege, instead of Victoria.
Back to present?
Coming back to Londinium has brought back many memories, but at the same time so much has changed. The decision I make no longer solely affects my team. Doctor, I don't actually want choice to be an excuse that holds me back.
I'm here today as the result of my choices. Someone once said I'd find my own path. Vina, I want to share these words with you too. You always have the right to choose.
Miss Heidi. Amia, I'm currently tending to the wounded. You practice medicine? Only some basic nursing techniques. This job inevitably brings me into emergency situations. To give me and my friends a better shot at survival, I had to at least learn to use a first aid kit. You're really amazing. All we're doing is protecting our home. But Kaltsit and you, Amia, you all carry so much more responsibility on your shoulders. We've lost a lot of people on this operation. I feel the pain of the Self-Salvation Corps soldiers. They've never had to deal with such horrific enemies before. The Sanguinarch, did he come here because of us? Amia, what you need to hear isn't me saying no, it's not your fault. Yes. Clovicia said she was afraid Rhode Island would get the Self-Salvation Corps involved in a war they weren't part of. If working with us puts them at a greater risk. During last night's operation, what would have happened if Rhode Island had not been there? Without W colluding, had she not stopped her mercenary leader, and without Rhode Island operators keeping Manfred at bay, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. The calculus of exchanging one set of lives for another simply does not exist for Rhode Island. But even if Kaltsit were here, I'm sure she would say every opportunity comes with its risks. I understand. That's why we have to be better prepared. Miss Heidi, I need more information from within the city. Not counting the Sanguinarch, how many kings do the Sarkas have inside Londinium? Excuse me, I'd like a bag of bread. I don't need your money, lass. Take all these with you. Huh? Hurry along and don't come out here again. What do you mean? I know who you are. Actually, we can all tell. Even if you took off your equipment and changed your clothes, both your actions and the look in your eyes won't fool anyone. Thank you. I might as well pack up too. Don't think there's business to be had today.
We're doing another sweep of this street. Take away anyone whose name is on the list. What's going on? I'm just a restaurateur. Didn't you come by to have fried fin meat before? You're the one we're after. Your cover runs pretty deep, selling fried meat to us day by day, peddling information to the rebels by night. Take them away and check those buildings next door. They're all rebels.
Why are the Sarkas suddenly going around grabbing people?
Hurry, take a turn in the alley just ahead and find the others. Another one down. You lot, search the alley over there. Don't let a single one of them escape this burrow. Report. We ran into Sarkas as soon as we came out. No, they weren't guarding the city exit. They suddenly appeared in the middle of the streets. Commander, do you think our comms have been compromised? Please be careful. The soldiers dispatched out of the city have all perished. I can't hide much longer either. Bloody hell, why can't I shake them off? The Sarkas seem to have suddenly figured out all our passages and networks. In just a single night? What exactly happened last night? Would you like to know? Huh? What the hell are you? My blade snapped clean in half. The way you're dressed, are you a Rhode Island operator? Thank you, you guys saved us again. Hurry back. Wait, be sure to tell Amia and the doctor that the underground isn't safe anymore. The traps we ran into yesterday aren't the only ones we've discovered. Alright, but before we continue, we have a lovely little addition to the menagerie of enemies that we have on these stages. In the form of this... this is... I don't even know how to describe this thing. Named the Sarkas Requisitioned Engineering Drone. An engineering drone requisitioned by the Sarkas Royal Court. They are a part of Londinium's defense system, modified to be more stealthy, but at a cost of greater wear and tear. Yeah, you know what? If you put a giant blood leech on top of a drone, then yes, wear and tear is gonna be quite significant on that thing. Also modified, really? Excuse me. Would you call that a modification by just slapping a leech on top of a drone? Isn't that a bit of a stretch, buddy? Creepy eldritch shit. I love it. Anyway, continuing with the after part. Have you finished cleaning up the streets? Yes, General. Everyone on the list has already been dealt with. Some tried to flee to other boroughs or leave the city just as you said, and we stopped them as well. Only a few slipped through our net. The soldiers sent to chase after them seemingly ran into the same Sarkas from Rhode Island as yesterday. Let them squirm their way underground. That'll make it easier for us to flush them out all at once.
Multiple of our contact points above ground were attacked all at once? What of our messengers? They got taken as well? Doctor, I want to hear your view on this.
Rhode Island wasn't told where these points were.
The only ones with access to that information are our own troops.
We were tailed on the way back yesterday.
It seems the seeds of crisis were sown last night. But I don't want to doubt our own soldiers. There's no way they'd betray their brothers and sisters.
We can't overlook any hypothetical. How many soldiers were rescued?
12 people came back with Heidi. Among them, 9 only ever provided us information on occasion. The other 3 helped us transport supplies, so it is possible they know the locations of some contact points.
How many more are in Sarka's hands?
A lot more. Doctor, you know better than anyone how difficult last night's operation was. As much as I'd like to rescue everyone, I'm forced to admit that we're not yet strong enough. Heidi's done good work, being able to save all those people already. Being able to save all those people already went above and beyond my expectations.
The Sarkas couldn't know who would be rescued.
There were a lot of uncertainties surrounding our operations last night. I doubt the Sarkas could have full control over everything. So if there really were traitors among the soldiers we saved, in all likelihood, they would have been the easiest for us to rescue.
That narrows it down considerably.
Still, I don't want to fling these accusations around about soldiers willing to bleed and die for their homeland. We need proof. How do you suppose we get that, Doctor?
Please call Feist and Rock. Let's go visit the wounded together.
Why aren't you moving? The commander just sent news that Bill's about to wake up.
Rock. I want to tell her that I'm stepping down as captain of the operation team.
Take a look at these.
Packages? What's inside them?
Johnny and Gabby's belongings. I picked out the stuff to send back to their families. What remains are their tools and equipment. If you really can't get them out of your head, then pick out something useful and polish it up a bit. That way they'll at least still be with us on the battlefield.
Huh. Sounds like the vice captain rejected my resignation. Let's go and see Bill then.
You're awake?
Yeah.
Something came up, so Miss Heidi had to leave. She was originally the one in charge of coordinating the treatment of the wounded here. Wait, you're from Mr. Feist's team. Bill, right? Mr. Bill, should I go and call Feist and Rock over?
No, that's alright. Miss Amia, I decided to get up to talk to you.
Huh?
Well, I've always been curious about you. Amia of Rhode Island. Why do they trust you so much? You're just a caught us in her teens.
Are you talking about our operators? We've been through so much together. You're correct that they trust me, but that trust is mutual. As far as I can tell, it's no different for everyone in the Self-Salvation Corps either. You also trust Feist. You also trust Feist, Rock, and Clavicia, right?
Mutual trust, huh? That might be a part of it. After all, you've been through your shared trials and tribulations. But your authority does not come from your bloodline, nor have you taken your position by force. You are far too young to have earned the amount of trust you enjoy.
Mr. Bill?
Deep down you've thought about those things too, haven't you? But you don't dare show it. Your fears, your worries, your anxiety. Everything is suppressed by the responsibility they're forced onto you.
Are you worried about me? Did you overhear my conversation with Miss Heidi?
Maybe. I heard everything.
I appreciate the concern, but my responsibilities were not forced onto me. Our operators placed their faith in me, and I am not going to let them down.
Of course. Since the very beginning, they've always been devoted to you. But Amia, when they look at you, how do you know that they are not looking right past you, searching for another soul that has endured the twists and turns of fate? Everything you believe, do you truly believe it, or are you dreaming a dream given to you by someone else? One that you can't wake up from no matter how much you struggle?
Mr. Bill, no, that's not who you are. Who exactly are you?
Allow me to return the question. Amia, who are you?
Amia, do you like the stories I tell? You'll still be able to sleep well, won't you? I don't want you to have nightmares. You won't? Oh, what a sweet child you are. That's right. While we may look different in many ways, we are both children given life and nurtured by this great land. Some of the stories you've heard are legends that others find terrifying, but they are indeed the history of the Sarkas. You shouldn't be here.
I see the energy gathering inside your palm. Have you not figured out who I am? Why aren't you attacking?
I cannot touch your emotions, Mr. Bill. But I also cannot feel any malice.
Oh?
You could have continued pretending to be asleep, yet you said all these things to me.
Didn't I already tell you? We are very curious about you. If not for you, we'd have no desire to come here, either. Theresis has no sway over us.
No matter what you're after, this is far too cruel.
Cruel? Do you mean this face we're borrowing?
Yes, which is why I need you to leave.
Black lines surge from her palm once more, weaving a net around the man in the Self-Salvation Corps uniform. One strand condensed into a lightless blade pressed against his throat. What a remarkably gentle threat. Amiya, a lot of people have told you this before, yes? You really are just like her.
Not another word out of you, please.
Unfortunately, you're still too immature. Always be aware of your surroundings before you make a move. Miss Amiya? You're trying to kill Bill? No, she's not wearing yellow. What are you talking about? Shut up, Feist. Stupid.
No, Doctor, I take it that you didn't ask me to bring everyone here just to see the scene?
I wanted to see who'd make the first move.
I assume you're not referring to Amiya. Then Bill?
Rock, help me. I'd rather die myself than betray you.
Stay away from him. No, nobody knows the full extent of his originium arts. His words are, or rather his very existence is dangerous. Miss Amiya, can I trust you? Last night we fought side by side. I thought Rhode Island would truly had our backs, just as you said. But your expression scares me. It's as if I've seen it somewhere before. That's right, you're already mourning the pain and suffering you're about to cause. If so, then why? Why go through with it? The Sarkas took my father from me, right before my eyes. Are you going to take my family away too? I'm sorry, Miss Rock, but it's too late. Your family member's already gone. But Bill's right in front of us. This must be difficult for you to accept. I don't understand. Look, Amiya, it's not that we are not willing to believe you, but we don't have your arts. We can't see what you see.
Commander, I can see it.
Captain?
He might not actually be the same Bill we know.
But those wounds on his body, he got all those from saving me yesterday.
You said it yourself, Rock. The Sarkas are masters of disguise, but we can't let ourselves be fooled.
But how?
Look, I brought along the metal crap I was going to give to Bill. See for yourself. What? Did this thing crawl onto me? He didn't even spare it a glance. The only thing in his eyes is Miss Amiya. He's so proud of having deceived us that he's long forgotten about the bond between us. All because of this insignificant little machine? Don't you think you're being a bit too hasty, Feist? Aren't we sworn blood brothers?
I've made a lot of hasty decisions these last few days.
Bill, my good man, if he were still around, he'd be ruthlessly making fun of me. I miss him. I miss him so much.
Whoever you are, don't make me pry that mask off of your face with my wrench.
Rock, you're going to break my heart, just like him.
I'll never turn my back on my family. But you're acting less and less like him. He would never talk like that. He would never try to manipulate us.
So you really don't think I'm the real Bill? Feist, are you really okay with that? I'll have you know, if so, then that means your friend died in Wayne.
Anyone else may have the right to say that, but you sure as hell don't.
You're pretty smart, but unfortunate for you, it's too late. Artillerymen, are you ready?
Yes, General, the cannon is aimed at the target.
Remember, we're leveling every single building except the train station and the tracks.
Yes, sir.
Increase the output to maximum.
But maximum? That might blow right through the structural levels.
Did you hear what the Confessarius messengers said? In their eyes, this whole tract of land, including the factories above, is worth nothing to us.
Then what about our people underneath?
Orderer will guard these safe areas under the city walls.
But what about...
Who do you think is heading underground to deal with the rebels? The Sanguinarch? As long as you get it. If these toys can make him... If these toys can take him out, I'd be extremely surprised. As for the other one, I've been curious for a while now. If it comes to an all-out battle with the Prince, who would come out on top?
Thank goodness you're all here. Huh? Why does it feel like I walked right into a fight about to break out? Anyway, Doctor, I sent up some drones like you requested. They're all really about to resume. They're pointing those cannons right at us. Notify Heidi and Harmo. We're evacuating immediately. Hold on, I'm getting a strong originium reading. They're aiming at our current location. We've only got 10 seconds. 9.
Spare me the countdown. Why are you holding on to me?
You said it yourself. We're sworn blood brothers. I don't want to pass judgment too hastily. Captain, I don't think I can carry the two of you.
I'll admit that you people are very interesting. Goodbye, Captain. Goodbye, Rock. Bill wanted you to live on. Those were his last words. Alright then, and we continue on to stage 10-15. Titled Fleeing Through Fire. The ground is subsiding, their refuge is collapsed, and the soldiers bear nothing but wrenches and hammers.
So this is the one that has the before part, so let's begin. What's the situation?
Areas D and E have been severely damaged, and the structures in the other areas have sustained various degrees of damage as well. 19 people have light injuries, with nobody seriously injured as of yet. Fortunately, we followed the instructions given by you and the doctor and managed to move most of them to a safe area ahead of time.
No, we're safe right now. Everyone around you is in danger. Everywhere around you is dangerous. Our entire stronghold has been completely exposed to the Sarkas. They're not going to stop until they've blasted this place into smithereens to make sure we have nowhere to hide. How much time do we have? 30 minutes. Maybe even less than that. The nearby plates are pretty old, and if we take the power of the artillery we've seen before and multiply that by the theoretical maximum output value, we won't even have 30 minutes before these structures above us collapse right onto our heads. Let Harmo know we'll start the train right away. Train? You all should have seen it before. A few kilometers above us is a train station. I thought all the stations were occupied by the Sarkas. Then all we have to do is take that one back. Now that the Sarkas have cut off all of our pathways to the boroughs, this is the least chance we have to evacuate Sudan. Heidi, once we leave Sudan, do you have a way to keep us out of sight? Yes, I've been preparing for this. Once we arrive at the next station, we'll have friends who will disguise us until we successfully enter Central Londinium. Good. The biggest question mark will be whether or not we can safely board the train. Clovicia, how far are we from the city walls? Very close, if we take the underground passages. I'd like to try climbing them from beneath. Amia, are you planning to... We'll buy time for the Self-Salvation Corps to retreat.
Block all oh Jesus. Block all exits from the targeted plate and keep an eye on the train station. I don't want them crawling into the next gutter over. Set up the motion tracking ground targeting system, in case they still have some fight left in them and plan to escape through the surface via vehicle. We'll greet them with even more intense fire. Strengthen the defenses of all points inside the city walls. Also change the control passwords for the defense artillery so no one but me can deactivate it. Good, you're taking adequate precautions. General, you're here? In a matter of moments, these pesky insects have nowhere to hide. The Londinium rebels will never again dare to poke their heads out. More importantly, nobody will be able to go in and out of the dark passages we cannot see. The only thing the dukes outside will hear will be our hand-picked messages. No one will interfere with our project's progress again. Manfred, am I not welcome to share this moment of triumph with you? Please do not mock me, Your Highness. Oh, you've gotten better than before. We hardly spoke 5 sentences, and you've already realized we're not Thereses. Your Highness, whether or not His Majesty is willing to turn a blind eye to you, should you draw the attention of the Confessari, they will surely petition His Majesty to restrict your movements. Very well. As you said, the military commission cannot allow 2 men to call the shots. In that case, I'll shift to an appearance I'm more comfortable with. How unusual that you're willing to meet with me using the same appearance you take at the royal court. We vowed not to use the faces of the dead, so as not to scare you and your men. You came back sooner than expected. Even though you helped us root out the rebels then, they may still have an escape route I haven't found. If you could uphold your end of the deal and follow them until every last rebel has fallen into our hands. Do you really think that doctor can keep us hidden for so long? More importantly, Manfred, you must not forget that we do not belong to you. I was out of line. Please forgive me.
Don't talk to us the same way you talk to the Pink Eyes. We've told you before, we won't fall for that dribble.
As you wish, Your Highness. Since you decided to come back ahead of time, did you find what you were looking for underground?
That king of Sarkas is stronger than we thought, but is far from mature. She knows little of what she is about to face. If we want to learn more about her, that will have to wait until she meets Her Majesty.
You'd better not let the confessari hear those words.
And why not?
They'll think the Nazi cluster of the royal court had a change of heart.
And why would you think that matters to us? Manfred, we've already done what we promised you. You and the vampire can clean up the rest of the mess yourselves. Alright. Next time we speak, pick an identity for us that is still alive. Mina, Ami and the doctor have already left. Good. The first wave of Self-Salvation Corps forces are rushing towards the station above us. Hurry, pick up the pace. Once they capture the station, injured troops and non-combatant civilians will be the first to board the train. Mr. Balin, can I trouble you and the medics to tend to the injured with restricted mobility? Everyone, please pay attention to these signal lights on both sides of the passage and don't get lost. Most of the command structure will go with the injured and the civilians, except... Have all our people enter the retreat channel?
The integrity of this superstructure is continuing to erode. Commander, we have to get out of here quick.
As long as everyone's inside, I'll be right behind you. 12th, sit rep.
Commander, the underground area won't hold for much longer. Our enemy's really still coming down.
Report. Vina, should we go with Balin's group? We're staying. Staying? You're going to stay here with Commander Clavicia? I have a feeling. Maybe she's getting it too. The strongest enemy might not be above us right now.
I want to point out, Horn is in her full appearance now, or rather her normal appearance, back with her double shields and artillery. And also our dear man Robin over here is also now fully sporting a Victorian soldier uniform. They are not anymore in those ragged clothes that they were wearing so far. Anyway, the cannons. Horn, the defensive cannons are activating again. This time they're targeting the plate closest to the city walls. From what I can tell, they're not aiming at us.
But there's no guarantee that the surrounding areas are safe.
Run! Hurry!
Where's my daughter? Has anyone seen my daughter? Look out! Get inside the sturdiest building as quickly as you can. No, get away from the city walls, now. Okay. So this is Londinium's defensive artillery. Based on the current situation, it won't be long until the cannon fire penetrates the plate and destroys the base structure.
Those damn Sarkas, is this the moment they've been waiting for? Are they trying to destroy the city?
No, they only activated a small number of cannons, and their targets are quite clear. They're trying to eradicate us and our friends.
Horn, what should we do?
Among the soldiers we came back with us yesterday, how many of them were originally part of the city's defense force, a garrison here? Call them over, bring the best equipment we've got. Tell them, it's time to take back these walls from the Sarkas.
We're almost there.
Careful, don't trip and fall. Are you hanging in there?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. I've also made the big mistake of trusting people I shouldn't. After that, for an entire month, it took everything I had to force myself to keep going. As soon as I stopped, I feel like I couldn't look Amiya in the eye.
Well, the battle's not over yet. People don't have enough time to catch their breaths.
It'd be too much of a luxury for me to mourn or wallow in self-doubt. Mr. Feist, do you need help? I can calm you down. How? Is that some sort of originium arts? Something like that. So, do you also help your men with psychological treatment under normal circumstances? If the operator thinks it's necessary. Relax, Amiya is looking out for all of you. Mr. Feist, did I come off the wrong way? No, that's not it. I was just thinking you have some truly amazing arts. Even in a place like Londinium, I've hardly seen anything like that in them before. Miss Amiya, I appreciate your kindness, but I don't think I'm ready to drive that scene out of my head so quickly. Then we'll just have to go right back to work. Let's do it. The drones are showing that the defense structure layer above us is very thick. Can it be blown up? Not likely. If Londinium's defenses could get blown up so easily, well, let's just say we would have stormed the shard yesterday. You'll find a way. I appreciate it, Doctor. You sure know how to twist your employees' arms. I finished scanning the lift. As long as you guys can open up enough of a gap for me to push the drone through, I should be able to hack into the lift and take control of it. Of course, you'll have to find a bigger gap to get yourself up first. Doctor, don't you think you should send a signal and call Misery over?
He has work to do.
Fine, I guess we'll have to do it ourselves. Maybe the locals over here can give me some inspiration.
If you can locate the support structure and apply an extremely strong external force, you might be able to open a little seam.
Somebody's rapidly approaching our location. Did the Sarkas expect us to find a way to climb up the wall? Who cares about that? I'll have the drone pack some originium explosives. Feist, calculate the position. I'll think of some way to amplify the explosive effect. He's here. Orderer.
We meet again, leader of Rhode Island.
What happened to W?
Are you sure you should be worrying about her right now? I heard your folks were short on time.
I'm willing to set aside whatever happened between you two, as well as what happened at Chernobog with Scout. But Mr. Mercenary, if you intend on standing in our way, I'll cut you down without mercy.
For any mercenary dying at the hands of Her Majesty's heir would be a great honor.
You'd better hurry up, Amiya. The bomb I planted just started ticking down. 1 minute, that's all the time we've got. I'll stop Orderer.
No, Miss Amiya, let me handle this mercenary.
Mr. Feist?
I found the support column. Plus, I have a plan, though I don't know how solid it is. If it works out, you and the doctor need to seize the opportunity to get up the wall. I know you, young warrior. I also know that look in your eyes. The weight of everything you've lost has finally begun to set in, and you've lost your ability to trust in the soundness of your own decisions.
Lost? Sorry, but even if I had the time, I'm not interested in a heart-to-heart with the butcher. Over here.
Another smoke bomb? Even if I'm short a usable arm, your little tricks won't work on me.
Come on, Sarkas, give me your worst. Let me taste your sword, your machete, whatever weapons you've got on you.
Trying to draw me away. Not a very sensible strategy. Empty bravado with no self-awareness isn't going to buy you any miracles. Even if your men were here, you wouldn't stand a chance against me. Pretty ugly run there. Without help, you're going to bleed out soon enough. After all, you're just a craftsman. you and your men wave around wrenches and hammers in hope that is enough to hold back Sarka's blades tempered by centuries of war. Beg the king of Sarkas for help. Have her deal with me.
The king of Sarkas? What are you talking about? Sarkas, you're the ones who brought war to Londinium. This is a war between us. 30 seconds. Amiya, focus your energy. Hold on tight, Doctor. Mr. Feist, I need your location. Mercenary, are you seeing this?
Another flashy toy? Stop resisting. You can't fool me.
Sure, you're right. Please, one last push.
A metal crab. A mechanical toy. What's your play here? Quit screwing around.
No, that's the most important thing you've taken from me. I've never fought alone. Look, old Bill helped me out again. It's all thanks to your paranoia, mercenary.
My paranoia? You're using my...
Did you finally get it now? Every time you swung your blade at me, you were carving your path to defeat. Amiya, Porter cut through the structural layer. Hurry, take aim. The bomb's about to blow. 3, 2, 1. It's been split open. That's a big enough gap. Alright, you're up, drone. The lift is ours now. Doctor, let's head up. Feist, are you hanging in there? Grab onto the zipline, and we'll head up after them.
You're not going anywhere.
Closure? Have any more explosives? Yeah, catch.
You...
Thanks for the hand, mercenary. Alright, but now, before we continue with the next stage in the story, nothing new to add here, but 1015 does unlock yet another entry. And as you can see right here, this is an entry which is just titled with Heidi Thompson already readable on the page. And just as a precaution before I start reading through it, this is a very... Let's put it this way, this was hastily written, and you will notice why very soon. So don't be surprised by the structure of the sentences. Anyway. If unable to escape this place, seek Golding for future messenger work. Handwriting may be part illegible, sudden bad news. Little time to note things. Per Amiya, Sarka spies hiding among self-salvation with shape-shift-like arts, thus easily disguised as one of us. Such arts beyond our ability to beware. Most worried this will cause suspicion between corps. Feist plus Rock with guilt-ridden was the one they spent great effort rescuing. Once their closest comrade in arms. I can emphasize, if chance present itself, would like to comfort them. Some corpse fighters know I once made a similar mistake. Most vital now is having everyone stay reasonable. Not easy establishing this base in Sudan, and families of several live nearby, but all now under threat of bombardment by city defense artillery. Our defensive arms are simply toys versus cannons designed to melt a nomadic city in its structural level, but all are silently equipping selves. I want to leave this written. We have nothing else, seek nothing else. Vast majority of self-salvation soldiers care most how to get wounded companions medicine, how to keep doing the work they know in Londinium's underground, nothing else. They've never conjectured about the truth of the dark clouds about Londinium, can hardly imagine how dreadful the Sarkas royal court is. But realistically, no Sarkas civil war rumor was exaggerated or fabricated. breaths of the ancient royal court suffice to tear the lives of us commoners from us. These are the enemies we contend with, whether they know this is the truth or not. RE, mistake I made. I trusted the wrong person for liaison when we tried to get in touch with Camden Burrow. After he was taken in, he told the Sarkers everything he knew under trial. To avoid more intel agents discovered, our messengers decided to bring letters of no real substance to the RDV point as usual. Pretend we never learned he was captured. Ella was a child anyone would have loved. But we can only move on. We are about to leave. So yeah, this is essentially an entry that was hastily written along all the kerfuffle after the rescue by Heidi, just noting down what is happening for posterity's sake. But anyway, we are now continuing on to stage 10-16, and this is where our background also shifts. Titled Bloodblade on High. Both the workers who build Londinium and the lofty noble aristocrats are to be forced by calamity down the same road. And considering this is an after story, we have a menagerie of extra enemies here, all pretty much elite versions of previous enemies. So now we have the gift of magnanimity. I hate pronouncing that word. Sorry. It says here, a creation of the Sanguinarch of Vampires Originium Arts that bears exceptional vitality. One who was powerful in life will continue to be a great threat to their enemies even after being reshaped by the power of the Sanguinarch's blessing. Therefore, those who continue ought to thank the Sanguinarch for his magnanimity. Still hate that word. Then we have the Sarkis Hairbearer retrofitted ASV, an armored supply vehicle meticulously blessed by the Sanguinarch of Vampires, while on the battlefield enhances gift of the Sanguinarch and touch of the Sanguinarch. Then we have the Sarkis Hairbearer Chaincaster Captain, a caster captain of the Sarkis Royal Court blessed by the Sanguinarch of Vampires, more experienced than a normal caster. Trained by the Royal Court, they pose a wide-ranging threat on the battlefield with their arts. And finally, the Sarkis Hairbearer Wrathgorger. That is a name, alright. An elite soldier of the Sarkis Royal Court blessed by the Sanguinarch of Vampires. The wrath of their compatriots slain on the battlefield builds up within them, making them more than eager to tear apart every last enemy of the Sarkas. But that is about that, and let's continue with the after story for 16. Do we need to keep increasing our reload rate? Are you seriously trying to eradicate every mobile plate in the city? Got a problem with the general's orders? I'm just concerned that bombardment on this scale will have an effect on the walls. Nothing like this has ever happened before. If Londinium wants to swap out plates inside the city, we'd simultaneously have to shift around the walls. Didn't ask. Are you going to obey or are you going to die? Those are your only two options. What's the matter? I think he still has a third option. You... Can you still stand, Captain? I'll be alright. Who are you? An old battle buddy. Over here, someone snuck in. The shield. Where the hell did Victorian soldiers come from? It feels pretty nice to use a weapon I'm familiar with. Captain, can this model of cannon take out the control system of the city defense artillery? No, it's not possible. I was expecting as much. Horn, we've mopped up the Sarkas outside. Make sure to thank Mr. Misery again on my behalf. Captain, is there any other way to deactivate the artillery? No need for the long face. You've been praying that we'd come. After all, you didn't even cover up your old ID from the city defense forces.
This is just a blunder. The Sarkas won't kill me over something like this yet.
But if you help us, you'll be put to death.
And my family too. They'll get dragged in.
The Sarkas can kill them off at any time. I understand. Carl, put your sights on this traitor.
Lieutenant, where am I supposed to aim?
Here, at my heart.
If I die, perhaps only then the Sarkas will forget about me and stop hunting my family.
If you've made up your mind, we'll work with you.
Alright, thank you, Lieutenant. If you want to turn off the cannons, there are only two ways. One is to have the Sarkas General stop them himself. The other is to completely destroy the control room.
For the first method to work, we'll have to defeat Manfred.
That's right. As for the second option, we don't have enough firepower. And besides, are you prepared to tear down a cornerstone of Londinium's walls with your own hands?
I know it's what we should do. What about you, Captain? Are you prepared?
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Lieutenant, you missed.
Bloody hell, I suppose my hand slipped. Help him down the lift. Whether he lives or dies should be in his own hands. Too much has happened on these walls today. We don't need to add another traitor.
What about us? Should we head up as well?
Let's go. We'll go to pay Manfred another visit. Wow, this lift is going up way too fast.
Let's not talk right now, or I might vomit all over the doctor. After all, we've been dragged several hundred meters via zipline. You'll get used to it.
Everyone, catch your bearings. Enemies approaching.
We've got more intruders here. Report to the general immediately. Amiya, intercept the attack. We'll catch up to the runner.
Closure, we need to find some way of shutting down those cannons. If that means we have to take out Manfred, we'd better make it quick. The longer we take, the more the remaining Self-Salvation Corps on the ground will be at risk. To think you get blasted like this by a boy who's barely seen a fight. What an embarrassment you are.
Even a tiny metal crab when backed into a corner will pinch your hand.
You'd better hope Manfred buys your story.
You shouldn't be here. It's too risky.
So you'd rather lean against the rubble gasping for breath than let me lend you a hand?
If you wanted to hold me up, the other side would be better. Thanks to her, I can't move this arm anymore.
You ran into her. What did you think?
Well, she noticed, Her Highness.
Then she
didn't change at all.
You're positive? We all saw what she was what she was like back then. Even when she was chasing down those assassins, her body riddled with wounds, could you have imagined that Her Majesty wasn't dead?
She's not the volatile, impulsive mercenary she used to be.
So she's getting even crazier?
Who can say? The truth is right in front of us. She snuck into Londinium by herself and didn't toss a single bomb for 2 weeks. Not even Manfred noticed her. The way she was before, she would have rushed straight into Vestalgen and buried 100 landmines under Therese's throne before getting herself killed by Confessari. I can reasonably assume she's formed some wiser plans with those folks from Babel. Or rather, Rhode Island.
You almost traded your life away just to make sure of that. Are you playing it a bit too fast and loose?
Manfred's underlings always have eyes on me. This was the only safe way we could meet.
Too bad for Schwab.
He made his peace the moment he sided with W. Or should I say, we've all made our peace. I sure hope so. Who's there?
I smell Confessarius.
I told Manfred you can't be trusted. Horderer, did you really think you could hide your clever little gestures from our eyes? This is all a misunderstanding. Oh, unfortunately for you, you won't have another chance to twist words around in front of the leader and the regent. You don't need to pretend to bow your head anymore. Pick up your sword and revel in your last battle, mercenary. If that is an order, then you are powerless. You can't hope to protect your companions. Not a single shadow here can escape my eyes.
Horderer?
Run.
No, you're not giving the orders here. It cost us a lot to come this far.
One more reason why we can't both die here. Worry not, I'll execute both of you together. You may take a moment to decide who goes first. He went down without a struggle. It's you.
He got too cocky. No one can claim to master all shadows. Infinite possibilities lie where the eyes cannot perceive. Hurry, get out of here. If you want to live, return to the sunlight.
What about you?
I still have other things to do. I'll have you know, Confessari underlings aren't the only ones here. The sound effects you're about to hear during this last bit of this segment are all in-game sound effects. None of them were added in post. What's that sound?
Commander, the metal structure behind us just fell.
That's not all. He's here. You feel it too? Mina, I don't hear anything except the sound of shelling. The sound of his heartbeat disappeared. What? Run! We've lost contact with the 12th. They've all been sacrificed. Yes. Their voices completely vanished. These pitch-black pipes should amplify any and all sounds. Breathing or footsteps, the clacking of metal crab crawling through the pipe, or the rumble of machinery. These pipes will record the vibrations of any signs of life. And in an instant, all those voices were devoured. You mean to say this darkness behind us is all the life it has devoured? Just like what happened at the banquet 3 months ago. Engineering team, close the first safety lock.
Yes, Commander.
Miss Siege, you've got sharp senses. Are you familiar with Londinium's underground structure? I remember Feist saying you're from around these parts. I've only been here once, but I've heard a lot of stories about these pipes. 100 years ago, a terrible fire ripped through the heart of Londinium.
Wink wink, history, wink wink.
Only the royal family and a few nobles managed to escape the flames. After that, a legend began to circulate that a magic circle was hidden beneath the place that could allow the royal family to escape any disaster. When I first heard that story, I couldn't help but wonder, would our royal family also use these very same pipes for their escape? The story I heard was very similar to your version. The workers who built Londinium, the posh aristocrats and nobles, and the royal family itself are all forced to take the same route during times of crisis. That already is a story that writes itself.
Commander, the safety lock is starting to give.
This door cannot hold him back.
Are you serious? This door's thickness can withstand 7 or 8 salvos from an armored vehicle.
Retreat! Fall back!
With a sharp, ear-splitting noise, a fissure appears in the middle of the metal door. Under the tearing and folding of the tremendous force behind the door, the thick metal sheets seem thinner than paper. The fissure continues to grow, the dark void behind it like a monstrous abyssal maw.
Close the second safety lock.
Understood. The door slams shut with a heavy thud, but the person sealing the door suddenly slips. Before he has a chance to scream, something invisible drags him into the shadows behind the door. A smudge of blood seeps through the door's crack. But not even the pool of blood is allowed to escape. In an instant, the shadows lurch through the door and instantly devour the passageway. Another massive roar rings out, though it is unclear whether it came from overhead or behind. The pipe shudders, and the shadow's edge blurs like a predator's mouth parts, extending to latch onto its prey's ankle.
I've also heard of another story. During a battle 200 years ago, the Victorian army joined forces with 2 other nations to lay siege to the city of Kasdel. One night, an entire army of heavily armored troops disappeared in the valley where they were stationed. The Count, who had dispatched the enemy, sent men to investigate their whereabouts, but only saw the crimson of the setting sun reflected against the mountain walls. And as everyone remembered that day, the sun did not come out at all. The third safety lock! Is this the last one?
Clovicia doesn't answer her. Just like her answer, devoured by the monster flooding through the pipes. And that is where we are gonna stop for today. Next time we're gonna finish off the story with the last few stages, and once I'm also completely done with the hard mode stages to unlock the last couple of entries here in the little book, we'll also add those to the narration itself, as per usual. But before we leave, we have one more thing to do, and that will be to add another character's full file and voice files to this narration right here, and you will see who it is in a second. But for those of you who are maybe gonna jump off right now and not gonna stay for the narration, for that narration, thank you all for listening. If you've liked this this narration so far, and apologies for the stumbles here and there, please leave a like on the video if it would be okay, because it helps it being recognized better in the algorithm. But in the meantime, give me a second for me to switch over to who we are gonna be covering. Alright, and here we are once again with I know we used her operator record for the fact to fill in the blanks in a previous episode, but today we are going to be adding the full file and voice file for Operator Horn into this narration, considering that she is a very central figure during this story alone. And yes, I had mostly, when it comes down to it, the last few files that I had that I could have added here would be Rock or Indra, but I want to leave those for chapter 11 potentially, because of
Well, because of a single fact that Feist, for example, will become one of the playable characters with that chapter. And if I remember correctly, Dagda also should be available with chapter 11. But I can't remember if it was 11 or something from a side story. But we'll see soon enough, right? But anyway, I would like to leave those for potentially next time, but for now we're gonna add the full file for Horn, which is, by the way, this is a huge ass file. I didn't even realize when I was reading this at one point how large it was until I looked at the time and how much passed. This is a huge chunker of a file and it covers quite a lot of things. Plus some history stuff gets discussed in this thing, so this is a very informative file. But anyway, let us begin, shall we? So, basic info: codename Horn, gender female, combat experience 9 years, place of birth Victoria, date of birth November 1st, race Lupo. Oh, and by the way, if I remember right, when she was dropped into the game on global, there was a typo, right? And instead of Lupo, it said feline for some reason. I remember those memes. Anyway, height 168 centimeters and infection status. Medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam: physical strength excellent, mobility standard, physical resilience excellent, technical acumen excellent, combat skill excellent, and Originium arts assimilation standard. Profile: Horn graduated of the Royal Guard Academy of Victoria. Presently commander of the Victoria's 2nd Tempest Platoon. Fought in coordination with Rhode Island during the Londinium incident. Ratified a cooperative strategic contract with Rhode Island following referral by elite operator Misery. Clinical analysis: imaging tests reveal clear normal outlines of internal organs and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell Originium assimilation 0%. Operator Horn shows no signs of Originium infection. Blood Originium crystal density 0.13 units per liter. Operator Horn rarely comes into contact with Originium. You know, it was fairly dangerous having to sneak about Sudan back in Londinium. Good thing we brought a batch of protective meds. Let us hand out a share to all the other Victorian soldiers, as well as Miss Horn. Comment by a Londinium Spec Op medic operator. Archive file number 1. As a professional officer, there is no question that Horn possesses excellent combat skill and tactical accomplishment. Her customary weapon is a specialized shield with an arming mechanism able to burst up 10 rounds in an extremely short time. Just as with Bagpipe's piledriver spear, Horn's shield displays the terrifying might of Victoria's standard ordnance. Londinium is currently in a unique phase, and being in cooperation, we performed repairs on the weapons borne by Horn and the Victorian soldiers she leads. In the initial stage of work, even the mechanical structure of her shield eluded us. Geez, no wonder Victoria's got the most advanced mechanical engineering on all of Terra. I can't even picture how I'd develop these weapons any further, were Closure's words demonstrating even her of. Fortunately, Horn assisted us in disassembling the most difficult parts. Her past military exercises had given her a considerably professional grasp on mechanical technology. With her knowledge, she and the city defense force soldiers fashioned their crossbows and grenades by themselves during a period when supplies were extremely scarce. It's no exaggeration to say that Horn has once again made us find how outstanding the professionalism of Victorian soldiers is. Are you sure the Royal Guard Academy teaches mechanical engineering? Then what about all of the control terminals bagpipes racked up on the ship? Addition of this remark has been strongly requested by Closure following perusal of the above paragraph. Also, while this should probably go in the armament evaluation logs, I'll add these battlefield observation records below too, considering we have a shortage shortage of hands on deck for Londinium operators. Horn's performance on the battlefield is extremely professional. On top of an all-round comprehensive combat capacity, she has rich experience in squad command. This completely matches our first impression and is a strong fit to Bagpipe's descriptions. But in a few extremely challenging battles, I and a few other operators witnessed a shift. I might not have been exact under such tense circumstances, so it could be that any change in eye and hair color was misconception, but it was difficult to ignore her sudden rise in speed and how vastly different her destructive fighting technique were to her former restrained and controlled combat style. Out of curiosity, I asked the other Victorian soldiers if they knew anything, and heard a few rumors about the White Wolf who was active in the Victorian army. A White Lupo went mad in Sargon on a moonlight night and tore an entire army to death for an Aslan Pasha over however many thousand years ago. The White Wolf Count ripped a vampire prince to shreds with its bare hands however many hundred years ago, and so on. I mean, they just sound like stories that get spread through the streets. But a medical department colleague got back to me, and in their view, that kind of combat style would still put a heavy strain on the body, regardless if she used some unique Originium arts or activated some hereditary ability in the moment. We're fully aware of how far Horn can go to protect her soldiers and victorious civilians, but we hope she won't go that far so lightly. Archive file number 2. The Tempest Platoon of Victoria is a special force unit established by the Victorian Parliament, formerly known as the Paragon Army of Victoria. Its main duty is to carry out special missions assigned directly by Parliament, which traces of its activity covering all of Victoria, including her enclaves everywhere. Structurally, the current Tempest Platoon is still attached to the Victorian Army and is deployed to the front line for assault duties in times of war, but is in reality relatively independent. The platoon is divided into 6 sections, each section incorporating 2 operational groups, each operational group typically consisting of 5 members. The platoon's members are typically selected for excellence from either other special forces units or the Royal Police, and undergo extremely harsh training. By and large, they possess all-encompassing combat abilities and exceptional intelligence analysis capacity, and are outfitted with the technological cutting edge of Victoria's equipment. Due to the members who first founded the Paragon Army, themselves being Royal Guard Academy alumni, the Tempest Platoon has always had inextricable ties with the prestigious military school, from the day of its founding to present times. Every so often, some of the most outstanding graduates will receive recommendation letters from their instructors, which serve as the door to training and evaluation. Nobody on the outside is able to find out anything regarding the ratio of people who pass. Given the standards of the 2 Tempest Platoon soldiers we've already come into contact with, we imagine that even should one have graduated from the RGA, becoming a formal member of the Tempest Platoon must be considerably challenging. As for Horn herself, anyone who's met her will know that she represents the Tempest Platoon of Victoria's ideal essence. Bravery, loyalty, tenacity, wiping out all that blocks the way as a Tempest does. She will fight with her life on the line for Victoria, for every innocent life of her people, until the last blood is shed. You know, it's obvious she's of noble birth, isn't it? The child of a prestigious family must have had her pick of options, even if she didn't happen to be the favorite child. She could have served as the trusted aide of a Londinium VIP or had a cushier time as a commander high up in the army. Wouldn't anything have been better than joining the Tempest Platoon doing nothing but the most wearisome and dangerous work? The White Wolf Count. If she's the White Wolf, so to speak, then maybe I can guess. Since the upheaval 2 decades or so ago, nobility loyal to the royal family, especially those in the military, went through harder times. Counts Commandros had been nestling in the border city of Caledon for years by that point. The White Wolf's prowess in the military still remained, and many a duke feared crossing him. But any of the slightest indication from him could wipe out his whole family, and then and there. I hear Horn hasn't been back to see her father in years. If her choice to join the Tempest platoon right after graduating is any indication, she likely doesn't approve of her father receding away in self-protection. Victoria's future certainly isn't held in the hands of the old nobility entering their elder years, unable to uphold even their past splendor. Whether Victoria becomes the next Gaul will ultimately be seen in the choices made by the young, those like Horn and Bagpipe. Personal log of Rhode Island intelligence personnel stationed in Victoria. Archive file number 3. Londinium's in a hell of a mess. Yeah, the situation's more grim than we were assuming. Theresis is taking measures on every front. The Nachtseers leading the royal court's army out of Londinium right now. Between him and the Duke's forces, they're keeping each other gagged. As for the power which killed Outcast, Dublin, you guessed right. They were cozy with a couple of nobles after all. Seems now they're trying to get a message to Theresis. Maybe they want to wrangle a partnership. Going by the intel we picked up, odds are rock bottom that Thesis allies with Dublin at this stage. He's not going to trust any promises from a mysterious organization who wasn't there yesterday, and he's not going to be arrogant enough to set sights on any city beyond Londinium. But we have to consider worst case. Victoria might just be torn to pieces. The dukes could be provoked into action by Thesis, Dublin, maybe some other schemer from out of nowhere, and the whole nation would fall into civil strife. Obviously, Thesis had everything planned from the moment he got the one duke's invitation to enter Londinium and put down the rebellion. He had under 10,000 Sarkas with him when he left Castle, but now Londinium's military factories are producing arms for Thesis day and night. The Nachtseers got whatever secret channels he's found, and they're funneling Sarkas soldiers in from every surrounding nation straight to Thesis. We still don't know what exactly Thesis is planning, but if this enters all-out warfare, what precedent of those soldiers convened there do you figure are leaving Londinium alive? And after the war's over, even if Victoria can't help itself, it's not like the Sarkas will get anything good out of it either. You've seen the way Thesis retaliated against Victoria. Will Casdell once again become the target of every nation in the Centrum? Will we bring a new disaster? I don't know, Kaltzit. You and Blaze always tell me I think too much, but there's only so much I can do. So it's always been. As for Thesis and the military commission's plans, I believe Logos and Ascalon are more impatient than I am. All I can do for now is keep going with this Dublin unit, figure out just what they intend on. If any intel of Verf shows up, I'll send it back immediately. I know you've brought up the Draco before, Outcast's rescuee from County Hillock. Once she's ready, she'll give us more information, even help us figure out the truth of Dublin. In which case, I hope the intel I get will help her make the decisions too, ASAP. Right, one more thing. I discovered a young Victorian officer in the Dublin unit's camp. Dead ringer for Bagpipe's leader, her commander she described. I've been keeping visual on her for a time, out of caution. You know and I know that there's no looking at how Thesis went uncontested in Londinium without seeing the support from the Londinium's army top echelons. I trust how Bagpipe feels strongly about her leader, but just the same I firmly believe a crueler war can reshape anyone's senses of wisdom. She wasn't looked after kindly by Dublin. County Hillock, Mandragora, and her subordinates, they insulted her, mocked her constantly. They didn't put her through excessive physical torture. Maybe they still saw worth in her as a bargaining chip. Actually, no. Let me state this right. For an officer in the prime of her youth, there is no punishment more crueler than having to watch on helplessly while your comrades in arms are slaughtered, while you fall into enemy hands with no way to resist. I've seen a lot of POVs before. POWs. POVs? POVs. I've seen a lot of POWs before. Most lose the will to fight. Life with an interminably long sentence does that to you. Maybe they let hate swallow all their reason. I didn't expect her to still be sane, but she was. Multiple times I saw her fall asleep reading out her deceased comrades' names, then bolt awake shouting those same names, but I never saw tears in her eyes. There was still fire in them. The longing to survive and change it all. It was a fire that burned away her sorrow, led her to triumph over despair. I even doubt myself owing to that. Am I too pessimistic? Maybe enough to forget I can lift my head, and behind Londinium's dark clouds there are still a million morning stars waiting. I'm convinced tomorrow or this evening she'll attempt to make her break. Cultsit, it's my belief I should help her. Signed, Misery. Archive file number 4. Tactics sharpen the mind. Discipline strengthens the will. Bravery shall overcome evil. Benevolence shall save lives. We found out from Horn personally that these are the Tempest platoon of Victoria's maxims. Any operator who fought side by side with Bagpipe are sure to be intimately familiar with these phrases. After having learned of Bagpipe's experience over the past several months, Horn fell into a prolonged silence. I know she'd follow orders and press on the whole way, but I didn't think it'd force her to retire from duty. Horn said little more regarding Bagpipe's choice, or Victoria's situation, or the emergence of traitors in the army. She still throws herself into battle after battle, but in the intervals between combat, we often see her laughing as she chats with her fellow soldiers. Horn has a unique sense of humor, always able to find something to say that makes others crack a smile no matter how grave the situation. This has quickly closed the distance between her and everyone else. All soldiers, regardless of their birthplace, whether city defense or ordinary workers, or even Rhode Island operators from other nations' lands, find it easy as could be to relax around Horn. This isn't solely due to her combat and command ability that inspire confidence, nor her admirable uprightness and strength, but more so her uncanny ability to see through her soldiers. Worries and fears at a blink, and she uses appropriate methods to help adjust everyone's moods. However, we've gradually begun to worry for her. Who will be there to ease her mind? She's transformed herself into the shield she bears, firm, steady, and seemingly forever to be the last one standing. But there's only so much time any armament has. When a human forces herself to the extreme and being stressed for too long, what will happen to her the instant the pressure on her disappears? If possible, we'd like it for Horn not just to bring joy to everyone, but to be able to share any pain with us too, as her fellow operators do. Perhaps after reading this file, it'll be in you to reach out to her. Not to just bring her to stand side by side with you on the battlefield, but to invite her with you, to truly enjoy even the briefest moments of respite. And finally, promotion record. A letter's just arrived at Rhode Island with a photo, the only thing inside. In it, there is a elegant and lively noble girl wearing a light dress skirt, red shoes, lying about on a deep green lawn. Towering maples shelter her from the sunlight, and a sword is left by her side, along with 2 books strewn about, a copy of military history of the Empire and a fashion catalog for the seasons. The catalog appears clearly brand new, used to rest her feet on, while military history of the Empire has been read to the point its spine is half cracked. Though quite a ways from her current dress style, I can still tell at a glance that this girl with her eyes half shut is our very Horn. Just who was it that sent this letter? To my darling Rita. A single line written on the reverse, in resplendent but unfamiliar handwriting. Who learned of Horn's partnership with Rhode Island so quickly? Our messengers were just dispatched, and Bagpipe might not even know her leader's still alive, let alone that we've been active in Londinium. Whoever it is, I anticipate them to have known Horn well and kept a watch on her all this time, as well as Rhode Island. I'll take this letter as means to launch an investigation. I can only hope its sender has no overbearing ill will or more troubling motive. But no matter the case, when I saw this photograph, I couldn't help but think deep down about how such a lovable aspect existed to the ever-stern, proper Horn. Cute. Alright, but yeah, a lot of things are being said in here, the history of the Tempest platoon and much more, especially about Horn herself and why she is the way she is. But we will now go into the voice files, add those, and that will be the end of today's episode. Which means I get to, first off, crank up the volume of the game itself, and I get to shut up, and you guys get to listen to Horn. So I'll see you in a bit for the end.
I'll sort out your battlefield reports for you. My officialese isn't too shabby. I'll stand guard during your rest hours. Anything else required? I'd prefer you don't keep me idle. Has Bagpipe kept up her habit of humming around you? Me? I'm more the type to appreciate music in peace. The only thing a horn can play is the order to charge. I'm joking, of course, Doctor. The name White Wolf goes as far back in history as the Arslan monarchy. Why are you interested, though? Ah, you saw my fangs. I'm sorry. I lost control of myself then. I won't let it happen again. I have beautiful handwriting. Thank you. It just comes with the facade when you're raised a noble, which I've never been keen on. But sometimes these days, I'm grateful for it. Whenever I pick up a pen, everything else leaves my mind, and my focus is only on how I write every letter in the proper way. As that city spat great black crystals from its gaping wounds, I thought there could be no hope left for it. Is this place familiar with those made infected not by catastrophe, but by human hands? Doctor of Rhodes Island. Rhodes Island operator Misery managed to rescue me twice, and I'm sincerely grateful for it. I won't ask why I was the one he rescued. Those who live on are to carry forth the wishes of those who didn't make it. I always feel stifled by gloomy indoor atmospheres. Do you want to go out and take a walk, Doctor? It might be overcast, but at least there'll be a breeze. There are times you can hear singing on the wind too, not just the echo of your own words. I can vaguely remember the portraits of my ancestors decorated with medals in the hall. I also recall the epee carved with the Lion King's orders and the maples my father planted in the front courtyard. But that's all that comes to me. I haven't returned home in a long while. In her chaotic theater, Victoria's soldiers have no time to file for leave. Doctor, does a commander as outstanding as you ever feel sorrow? Or anger? Or hate? I try as hard as I can not to let personal emotions sway me. But I can't forget. I promised them I would never forget. How do you sleep after having witnessed so much cruelty? If I could do the same as you, with a simple shut of my eyes, would I feel any better? Tempest Platoon Leader Horn reporting in, Doctor of Rhodes Island. I've already borne witness to your own tactics and the fighting spirit of Rhodes Island's operators. Under our ensuing cooperation, I and my troops will heed your orders. No amount of training can ever suffice. Thank you. I'll regard this as a commendation of my performance, and not a reflection of my status. Confer your emblems of rank on me. I'm willing. No, I must bear the hopes of more. Of those past, now, and to come. Victoria's servicemen should take pride in their own discipline. I trust in my platoon mates at any and all times. I'd like you to put that same trust in me. We have no time to hesitate. There are souls waiting for us behind the firing line. I'll put up my shield. Don't stand in front of me. Allow me to study your command style in this battle, Doctor. At attention, ready to fall in. Orders received. I will complete my assignment. The Tempest must wipe out all that blocks the way. Come, best me if you can. I'll impart on you all the cries I've heard. You want to topple me? By what? One victory may not be enough to impact a whole war, but it can at least give more people a chance to see the open sky. Target has been suppressed. Any mercy on the enemy is a potential disaster. Let me lead my troops to settle this. Not a worry, Doctor. Until you've gotten everyone away, I will not fall. It doesn't resemble Victoria here, but it reminds me of when I studied at the Royal Guard Academy. Sorry, I'm not used to setting down my weapons. Did I bruise you? I'm just reading an ordinary novel. I've gone an awfully long time without reading something new. All the written word went up in the fires of war. Arknights! Hello, Doctor. Have you rested well?
Alright then, and that will do it for today's part. Alright, so next time we will be pretty much ending the main story, like I said, for the time being, until the next chapter is gonna be out. And yeah, that's gonna be something. But in the meantime, I hope you like this narration and everything else about it, hopefully. You don't have to. But thank you very much for listening. If you liked it, please consider leaving a like. It helps the video being recognized in the algorithm better. And at all, interaction with the video helps always. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. There is pretty much an upload almost every single day. And in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, bye bye.